Hey guys, Mustached. Tom here to finally review Predator Badlands. So I've seen the trailer for this movie a few times, and then even long before seeing the movie, I had seen reviews glazing the movie, and then shortly thereafter, seeing reviews totally trash the movie. So yeah, I needed to see it for myself, come to my own conclusions. How about that? Well, now I have to review it myself and be as objective as possible. What a conundrum, huh? Well, here we are, Predator Badlands. After Prey, and then Predator Killer of Killers, the animated Predator movie, now we have this movie, Predator Badlands. So, Predator has been coming back in a lot of force lately, it would appear, to say the very least. So, obviously, it should be stated right out front that this is obviously a different type of Predator movie, with the focus of the main character being the Predator. Now, typically, if you've seen the Predator franchise, we typically more so follow a human, and then at some later juncture point, the Predator begins its hunt. That is very typical of the Predator franchise. Predator 1 and 2, and then, it sort of meandered from there and to mixing results. Let's be gentle here, I guess, in this way. And you have your AVP movie, which was sleazy cheese, as it were. And then the sequel, which was even more cheese, of AVP 2, or AVP Requiem. But anyway, Predator Badlands, in terms of its own quality, begins with the two brothers, Dek and the Ocha. They're fighting over, trying to train, I guess, is what this is in terms of our opening segment. The father arrives and sees that things have not gone well. He needs to indeed earn his place in the clan, that being initially the brother by taking out Dek. Take out the weak of the lower end of the meat chain. But the brothers had already discovered that they could go over the Kalisk, but obviously the father has other plans, as I just mentioned. In trying to kill Dek, the brother protects him by signal blasting him into the ship, and then sending the coordinates before getting killed by the father. And this is the last image Dek sees, as he is filled with rage and determined to get back, but not before fulfilling, or what he would assume of fulfilling in capturing the Kalisk, the hunt that he has been semi-taxed to do from the brother, more so than the father. So we see that the father uses his abilities, like turning invisibility, to get that stabbing in on that brother. And so Dek, now forced on the ship, is plowed through space and debris, and ends up on Genna, the secondary planet that the ship was order to go to via the little device thing. So, Deck, now on a new planet, looks over his gear and begins moving out. What he has on him is a red bow, a spear, and a disc thing, and a few bombs. Unfortunately, as animals are hunting other animals on this planet, these tree beast things grab him and start to try to take him out. He uses his weapons to the best of his ability with his sword and bow, trying to cut them down. And after doing so successfully, in perhaps the quickest Predator action sequence thus far, outside of involving a Predator, I guess, enter the title crawl, as he has entered the quote-unquote Badland. So, we cut to him in a different location, because I was told from the critics of this movie that he instantly found the robot, the synth. But no, they cut away from him being elsewhere, so wow, I was immediately lied to. Thanks. That's cool. I want to be fair, so, you know, transportation should be explained. So he's indeed elsewhere in the forest. He's like cleaning himself off, making sure he's all healed up, avoiding a bug exploding on his face, because that's a thing that can happen here on this planet. And he almost walks into this white field. But he doesn't fully move into it. Then, once here, he then reaches the robot, who has a, yes, you, it's apparently being criticized that a universal language thing device is a thing that synths can have, and that it can translate to any language for any person hearing it, or any creature hearing it. So, we have a device that pretty much is playing by Tekken rules. Those not familiar with the video game Tekken, characters can just understand each other without, without anything. So, I don't know, I think we need to upgrade to that status. That's my critique of this. We clearly are too far behind in our ability to talk in different languages, alright? Somebody in the high sciences need to get on this shit right here, because we need to upgrade to the Tekken level. We're not there yet. This is the only universal language shit. This is baby first level shit, okay? So yeah, I'm not sure why this is getting criticized. Again, when you have games like Tekken doing a whole lot more with objectively less. So yeah, anyway. So she calls out for help, as this bird thing is hunting him, using these spores. So, in getting hit, she's like asking for his weapon, and so he proceeds to do so, and she proceeds to tackle this bird thing as it had landed, nearly killing him. So yes, Thea saves Deck in this scenario. So she goes on about how she's seen the Kalesk, the beast that he is in need of hunt of. And he kind of utilizes her, or sees her, as a tool to be used. Because, predators are all about being able to use the technology that they have to their advantage. That's their whole system. So that's how he squares that away. So he begins to carry her, running through the water, with these little, like, snake things that need to only be fed or something or other, and this is gonna come back. Oh, a movie that has a little, a little setup and payoff? Huh. Wow. Well, look at that. That's crazy. Anyway, so he proceeds to, once they get out of this scenario, they end up, like, in this forest area where he, like, builds this harness and has her on his back. And they have a little bit of a, she has a little bit of a talk sesh as he travels about. But it turns out that there's Tessa, as she mentions, and she mentions how those two, Tessa and her, were the two given higher quotes of sensitivity, as she puts it, to utilize. Speaking of, we cut to the ship and Tessa getting healed up. She had already been attacked by the Callisk as well. That's the whole setup here. But as we cut back to deck, they are encountering what is referred to as a bone bison, and the razor grass is a thing that they must avoid. They run into this small critter, eventually named by her, named Bud. Dick tree hops some, and jumps onto the beast, but only briefly. He almost seems to try to fight the little Bud, but she calls out the rhino is coming back, this beast, the bison. Now, I was told by EFAP that there's like cutaway kills or some shit. This thing gets split in half. So that didn't happen off screen. That happened on screen. It got split in half. Okay? Okay. So, I just want to make sure that we're not lying here on this review, okay? Because I don't know what kills were done off screen, because I watched the movie. I don't know what that's referring to. Maybe I might be misreading the situation. I don't know. Anyway, the two of them are then captured by a Luna bug, this big critter. And now it is Bud's turn to save the both of them using its hide, its thick hide, to drive them out. So, once out, these other drones, we cut to them at once more, arriving on this planet with Tessa. Back at the clan that Deck denies. Thea eventually finds her legs as they're coming across the situation that the other synths had, been obliterated at. We see that the critter named Bud is mimicking Deck, and then eventually spits on him. Thea explains that this is a familial thing, like how a dog will piss on whatever to claim it, its territory. Like, that's a thing that these critters do, is spit on a critter. To call it family. Alright? So we have different things going on here. So Tessa finds the alien predator ship, finding the cannon and among frost bombs. We cut back when Bud is officially named via Thea, but is still referred to her as herself as a tool, because that's the way Deck still sees it. So she goes on about wolves and how they operate. The alpha, as she goes on to say, is the one that protects. That is not the one who kills the most. Not necessarily, but it could be one and the same. But Deck, is listening to this interesting parallel that he kind of correlates to his own brother and the way the brother protected him before dying. So he kind of alpha, the connective tissue there is obvious. So how about that? More setup and payoff, huh? I thought this movie was apparently bad. I don't know. Like, setup and payoff, that's basic writing. Like, you would do that if you're writing good movies or good scripts. Setup and payoff, writing 101. So, there's that. But they find her lower half, so she's trying to reattach herself. And he's upset because she talks about how she calls the sister to get her to come there, and that this makes Deck realize that he needs to die. He's likely going to die with honor if he's going to go through with this. Causes a major explosion to cause the Kalisk to come to them, and does indeed begin to fight it, grabbing a shield door and tossing it, and it quickly gets tossed, to slashing its stomach under the belly, exploding it in the face, cutting the tail. It grows back. As she is trying to reattach, he is tossed in, re-breaking her. But Deck hooks the Kalisk and manages to cut off its head. But even its head comes back. It seems like the Kalisk has a really crazy regrowth abilities in this scenario. Because even doing that was not enough. This is all on screen, by the way, because I keep hearing that there's a death off screen, and I'm waiting for, like, in my notes to find anything that I wrote, because I'm going through it, and I'm wondering what that could be referring to, because this is all on screen, by the way, the head cutting and the regrowing of it. But unfortunately for our trio, Tessa arrives, using one of those frost bombs to freeze both the Kalisk and Deck. So, with Deck now captured, and Thea sort of like in a stasis of sorts, or just, being reawakened after a moment, Deck is messed with here, collecting his DNA. And the quote-unquote sister, Thea, or Tessa, excuse me, goes on about how they use those quote-unquote feelings to bring on deception. That's the reason why they were given this higher sense, as Thea put earlier in the movie. More setup and payoff. How about that again? Wow, it's the third time that's happened. But hey, apparently this is an awful movie, guys. I don't know. I keep getting setups and payoffs, though, so I don't know what's going on here. It's crazy. Anyway, so obviously Thea, or Tessa rather, is obviously much like the father from the original planet, going on about how the weak must be cold, so they're drawing a parallel between the two antagonists of the movie. So she like goes off, having one of the other synths like watch over them. So her and Deck speak the Yautja language specifically, so to like trick him into baiting him into using one of the weapons to self-destruct. And yeah, Deck manages to finagle his way from that to jumping off of the ship while it's moving out of the ship, not grabbing Thea along the way. He fell off into the water on his own, so he proceeds to heal his wounds and rages out after the fact. I believe it cuts to him making his way back to the ship, and then he rages out or something. I forget if I put that in or not, whatever. So he grabs a bison mask that he makes, and we montage of him scavenging the planet to collect his new resources, including a snake child to use as a weapon, and among other things. And grabs the lower legs of Thea as well. So obviously Deck uses his custom mask and proceeds to make his way into the little factory here, or whatever this is, like the synth setup, taking on 2 guards on screen. Because I keep hearing there are off-screen kills, but they kill a bunch of all the guards are killed on screen. In fact, the Callisk baby, Bud, kills 3 more on screen. So, forgive me, but I think this count, if we include all the synths that I just mentioned, as well as the trees that were killed, the little trees at the beginning, right? Is this the most Predator has, like, the highest its kill count has been in a Predator movie? Because I'm thinking of the original Predator movie, right? That's like a crew of like 7 or 8 people, right? And then two of them survive out of that big group. And we have had, like, what? 7 droid killed so far? 2, and then 3, and then 2 more. So yeah, that is 7 that I'm counting. The trees, which I get, it's an entity, so I guess I would count that. The bison, they killed that. So that's 9 kills. Totally on screen, all of them that I just mentioned. But don't worry, you see, Deck sits himself on the ground as a plethora, like 10 plus synths march on toward him, and he uses the snake in its spit to decapitate all 10 of them. So, I don't know, I think if I were to add that on to the kill count, I think this might be the highest kill count the Predator has ever had in a Predator movie, ever. But hey, this is apparently the worst Predator movie according to EFAP, because of reasons I don't know. Anyway. So they end up freeing the Kalesk, Instead, realizing Deck did earlier that this was a Kalisk baby. So, he wants to utilize that and end that whole equation. And thus, Tessa uses the power loader with accompanied Predator cannon. But Deck is willing to go in and take this fight. And so they fight. The entire fight is on screen. Crazy, I know. We have bomb throws, spear throw denials. It's a pretty intense fight. But, in the process, the Kalisk is released. But, the Kalisk itself, after being released and fighting back, is blown up from the inside into pieces. So, I don't think a healing factor is gonna, restore that, adding to the total kill count, but just from the antagonist and now. Anywho, Deck manages to stab her before almost getting yeeted by the cannon. And even after dealing with her, he still doesn't want the title of Yotja. He, instead, wants to return home. And so he does, to his father, after dealing with the sister and having that whole thing play itself out. And so, the father sends 2 other predators to do his dirty work. But, Deck's not having any of it, as he kills both of them, and proceeds to, attack his father, who tries to go cloaked, but Deck wisely uses his ship to spread the dust on him so that he can consistently see his father, who had used his same cloaking ability on his brother. So, he's just using the tools that he has at his disposal, the very thing that a predator's supposed to do, to fight his father. Interesting. So, he utilizes, eventually, the same entrapment that, the father did to the brother, this red chain thing, and stabs the mask off of, the father. Deck claims that he's of his own clan now, as, the bud, who's, grown up super fast, by the way, I guess. I don't know how fast these things go, alright? But point being is that, he, or she, rather, Bud, takes out, the father via bite, as the other predators have been watching on. And we cut as, he's taken on that wolf mentality, the alpha. He has found his own clan. He's put all of that together. But the movie doesn't quite end there, as a ship comes in, and, Thea's wondering who that is, and, Deck proclaims that's his mother. Now, for those unfamiliar, I've only glimpsed at Predator lore, but I am aware that Predators are a matriarchy. The ladies of Predator are the badasses, the actual badasses. That's someone who has a bare minimum knowledge of Predator telling you this, by the way. Even I know that. And I barely have, I just watch the movies. I don't usually even read the comics, but even I know that. I'm pointing that out because I have a feeling that other people would have an issue with that. People who might not know that that's how this actually works. So, that's obviously to set up for whatever is coming next in the Predator franchise. But after, Predator, Killer of Killers, and Badlands, back to back, sort of. Killer of Killers being an animated movie, so I'm not sure if it cost more or less to make, I don't know. But, this movie cost a lot to make and made a little bit, a smidge bit more, but not a whole lot, so, I guess a small victory, all things considered. But I'm here to talk about how well it was written. It had setups and payoffs. The character does a character arc, which is Deck. He utilizes the lesson of the wolf, as it were. He incorporates that into what he is last claiming in the movie. You have the parallels between our antagonist. So there's a lot going on in terms of, writing. So, excuse me, but I'm failing to... And no deaths were off-screen. The head chop off, or the head eating happens on screen, so I don't know. There's not a single death that is cut away from, to my knowledge. And again, this has the highest kill count in any Predator movie, to my knowledge, as well. Maybe outside of Predator 2, because that's the only one I'm struggling to remember, because there's that scene where the Predator clears out the evil heist place, because he's in the city in that one. And I don't remember how many guys were in that den that he invaded. But that all happened off-screen. Uh-oh! That was Predator 2! That happened off-screen. We just see the end results on that one, when the team comes in. But this is happening on-screen, so I don't know. I don't know what to say. I've been lied to by EFAP. Apparently. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But, in terms of a Predator movie that focuses on a Predator movie, I was told that this was a big comedy movie, and, she goes, she's, introduced, I would say pretty early on, but, only starts to yap, as it were, midway through the movie. And that's supposed to be the quote-unquote comic relief, that short burst of the little dialogue there. There's the bit of, I guess, the comedy that they're talking about is, the baby mimicking, Deck. I don't know if that's meant to be comedy. I guess it is. And I guess this must all be criticized, despite the first Predator movie, having the humans, shit-talk each other, bump each other up, do all that stuff, make cheesy 80s puns. How about all those jokes? How about we count? We watch Predator. How about you guys we watch Predator and actually count the amount of cheesy jokes that there is in that movie? And I'm pretty sure it'd probably be more than this. I'm just gonna be honest. I think it's more. I think the original Predator movie had a lot more comical banter between the group than this movie does. I'm just saying. I don't know, I was told that the comedy is like, oh, the rage, and like that's something to be criticized, but I don't know. Again, I'd rewatch that first Predator movie, guys, and just count the amount of cheesy dialogue, the amount of banter, because all of that's comedy. That would fall under the same exact thing, and I'm pretty confident there's more of that in that movie. I don't know. But I'm not gonna stake my bet on that necessarily, but point being, I think this is a solid movie. You know, pretty straightforward. You have, your Predator. He learns a little lesson because he's the main character. Pretty basic stuff. Setups and payoffs. Little, threads that get paid off of your antagonist. I'm, really struggling to be oh, but they failed to do this, or I don't know, apparently the universal talk thing has to be criticized. It's but we should be there in real life. I don't know why we aren't. Oh, wait, our politics, right, sorry, silly me. We're too slow, we're too retarded, is the problem. So we'll get there when I'm dead, is what I'm trying to say. Probably not, but who knows, right? Again, I want us to reach the Tekken levels of universal language, where we could just understand each other's languages and not even need a universal language device that's just integrated into the machine itself, known as Thea. But, he makes his own clan of her and Bud, the cow-esque, slightly more grown. And that's that. So, I think this is an average movie. This is a 7 out of 10. I don't know. I'm struggling. I don't know, maybe even an 8 out of 10. Where's the criticisms? Because they all fell flat. I have heard a lot of criticism before watching this movie. None of them hold a candle to what this movie actually presented me when I was watching it. Seems like maybe, again, either there's a little bit of dishonesty or, trying to mayhaps, and I don't understand why. I mean, I would want the Predator franchise to continue, that's for sure. Even if it is under Disney, technically speaking. But I don't know. So we'll see what comes of this. I mean, again, we just had Killer of Killers not even that long ago, it feels like, for me. And I'm not sure which movie I like more. Killer of Killers definitely has a little bit going on in its own right. So yeah, that was Predator Badlands. It's good. How about that? It's actually just good. That's where I'll leave my review. And just saying, it's good. I'm a little late in reviewing it, but it's good. It's good. So, if you enjoyed my review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to check out those links in the description when I head over my petition about small YouTubers. Second, to my PayPal, where you can help support me and my channel directly. And third, to my Discord server, you can join, collab, shield, all that cool stuff for free. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.